We finally have an open source image model that can generate native 4K images. Not upscaled, not enhanced, just pure, insanely detailed 4K output straight from the model. That basically means upscalers are done. And what's even crazier? This model is free and open source. Just look at these close-up face portraits. You can literally see the pores, the natural skin texture, the tiny facial hair, the subtle imperfections that makes the face look real and not like a typical AI generation. And then look at these other set of images. The details on these characters are insane. This looks like he walked straight out of a Hollywood epic. These feel like a full-blown movie poster. The embroidery on the robes, the way the fabric flows in the wind, the micro details on the staff, the carvings, textures, and even the sparks floating around look sharp. It all feels detailed. Then I pushed it further and generated a few Tokyo street scenes. And the amount of details we get here is wild. There is so much happening in one frame, and this model holds all that details without breaking. The neon signboards, the reflection on the wet road, the tiny raindrops in the foreground, the crowd, the cars, the buildings stacked into the skyline, every single element is sharp. Even the text on the board is perfectly readable. This is genuinely insane, especially for a model that's fully open source. Yes, this is DyPE we are talking about. The cleanest, sharpest, most detailed 4K native open source image generator available right now. And the best part is, you can run the whole thing in a simple Comfy UI workflow so it stays affordable, simple, and fast. To make this easier, I built a plug-and-play RunPod template so you don't have to go through the install grind. I've preloaded everything, the workflow, the entire setup, the models, the nodes, so you can start generating in minutes. GE has an official Python repo, but instead of running Python and setting it up manually, we use the Wildminder Comfy UI DyPE repo, which runs directly inside Comfy UI. I've already added it into my startup script and baked it into my Docker image, so you can literally just click and run. Here's how to start. First, sign up using my RunPod link. You'll get a random $5 to 500 credit. Then click the template link in the description. When you are choosing a GPU, apply two filters. Choose CUDA 12.4 and then choose a GPU with 48 GB. Now technically DyPE can run on 24 GB, but 48 GB gives you more headroom, quicker boot, and smoother generations. I personally use the A40. It's the perfect balance of price and power. Give it a name. Make sure my DyPE Flux template is selected. You can also see my container image here and hit deploy. The first boot will download everything, all the models required to run this smoothly and place them in the correct folders. Usually this takes around 5 minutes, but it can take a minute or two longer, so be patient. In the logs, when you see go to the link 8188, that means this is booted up. So go to the connection tab and you'll see the service will turn ready. Click the Comfy UI link and the interface will load. On the left sidebar, go to the workflow and load the DyPE workflow I preloaded. At this point, you don't have to set up anything complicated. Everything is already wired correctly. DyPE works only with Flux. So the first thing is just selecting the right model. Use Flux Kriya FP8 scaled. This one is fast and gives the best overall results with DyPE. I also tested the Flux Dev1 model. It gives maybe 2 to 3% better results in very stylized scenes like God Warrior style images, but it takes longer and doesn't outperform Kriya when generating real human faces. Look at these two faces, how different they are. The first one is generated with Kriya and the second one is generated with Flux Dev. And you can easily see Kriya looks much more natural. The skin is much more natural as compared to Flux. With Flux, you get a feeling that this is an AI-generated face, whereas with Kriya, this looks like a natural picture. So Kriya FP8 is the best option for most people. But like I said, when you are looking for a very stylized generation, you can go with Dev1. You can download it via the web terminal. These are the commands that you can run in the web terminal to download the model and place it in the right folder. Then inside this workflow, you will also see the dual clip loader. That's just the node that loads two clip models for better prompt understanding. I've already set it to use the higher quality one, which is the FP16 Safe Tensor, because this gives slightly better quality and VRAM isn't an issue on cloud. If you really want FP8, which is when you have low VRAM, usually on a consumer grade GPU, then you can always download it manually through the web terminal and place it in the right folder. These are the commands that you can run in the web terminal to download the model, but FP16 is what I recommend. Then we have the VAE model here as AE Safe Tensor, which helps with encoding and decoding. It is already selected here, so you don't need to touch it. You only need to do two quick things before generating. One, select Flux Crea FP8 scaled in the model loader. And two, disable the model path settings node. Do this by clicking the node and pressing Command B on Mac or Control V on Windows. After that, just type your prompt and hit run. The first run will take around 5 minutes, and after that, each generation is around 3 minutes on an A40. Now let me share some learning from my experimentation. I'm sure this will be very valuable for you and you'll save hours. So I tried a lot of image sizes. Square image like 2160 into 2160 gave me consistent best results. I even tried full 4096 into 4096, and yes, it works, but it takes much longer and sometimes breaks the composition. Portrait formats like 1536 into 2040 often stretched the body or made the face longer. Sometimes the head would look too small or the arms too long. That's why I recommend always generating in square. If you need portrait, crop it or use a second tool to regenerate from the square image. Inside the DyPE node, don't touch the width or height. DyPE works best at its default 1024 into 1024. The main setting you can play with is the exponent. An exponent of 2 gives very stable, excellent 4K quality results. Exponent 3 can give you much better micro details in some specific images, but it also breaks many images, so use it carefully. I also played around with the K-sampler settings. I tried bumping steps to 35 and 40 and CFG to 1.1 or 1.2. Sometimes the image did improve slightly, but in 95% of cases, the default 30 steps and CFG1 gave images just as good. I also tried LoRa's, including the Black Forest realism for face, but honestly DyPE and Crea already gives extremely realistic faces without me. Still, if you want a stylized look, you can add Crea compatible LoRa's into the LoRa loader. Everything is open and flexible. So yeah, that's the setup, and in my testing, this workflow is the fastest, cleanest and most stable way to run DyPE right now. I'm also planning to add a reference image node here. Let me know if you really think you need that. If you like the video, hit that like button or share this video with anybody you think it'll be useful for. Feel free to put out any questions you have. Stay tuned and thank you so much for watching.